evening and welcome to another exciting episode of the Men's Lounge. We are here today and of course we are excited. Thank you for staying awake to wait to listen to us. Last week we were here to discuss stress and its effects to us the men, and we found out a lot of things, that the things that when I do this you understand, the things that it can undo, you know and it's obvious that we need to be very, very careful when it comes to the issues of stress. Well, so let me once again welcome you to this evening's program. Let me urge you also to join us on all our social media platforms at ETV Ghana. So on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at ETV Ghana, you can find us. Today we'll be discussing something very, very, very important. There's something that's so real. It's happening as men. Well, we don't like to talk too much, but we need to begin to talk. But today we're going to deal with it the way we are expected to. Let me just go for this break. When I'm back, we'll just go straight to the point. I'll tell you who is here to do the discussion with me, and then we move on. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Back, if you're just joining us, we are in the Men's Lounge. We are in the studio, about to start our discussions. Today, we are talking about child custody issues. Child custody issues. And I'm sure that rings a lot of bells in the ears and the minds of a lot of men who are watching us this evening. And even the women, you know what we are talking about, child custody issues. So what rights do fathers have? What rights do fathers have? With me to do the discussion today, I have our own friend and brother, Leslie Fiado. He happens to be a lawyer. Leslie.
Yes, sir.
Akwaba.
Yeah, welcome.
Charlie Mihuache, good to see you today.
Sure.
Yeah, looking cool there. The weekend was good, eh?
Oh, yeah, the weekend was restful. Very restful.
Very restful.
Very.
The dollar hasn't... It's okay.
Forget the
Let
dollar.
me leave that matter. I also have with me David Aku Mensa. David is also a friend of the Men's Lounge, assistant manager, bean sourcing department, Niche Cocoa Industry Limited. David.
Yep.
Charlie from afar, and give me some. You see that thing? Charlie, how you guys been?
Charlie, it's been cool.
Not bad. Not bad.
You must be monitoring the ongoing football, right? Liverpool, Manchester.
Charlie, it's a miracle, man.
Have you heard they've been given two goals? I mean, Liverpool is trailing 2-0 already.
Is Maguire playing?
That's the question I've been wanting to do. Is Maguire playing in that game? Because you see, for Liverpool to win, they need Maguire's help.
Yeah, man.
That's why I'm wondering whether he's playing or not. Anyway, I hope it goes well. Hey, if I say I hope it goes well, what do I mean by I hope it goes well? It's already going well for some people.
For who?
Anyway, guys, today we are discussing child custody issues and what rights do fathers have. Let's narrow it down even from the start. What does child custody mean in family law? I'm going to take this to you, Leslie. And what does the law say in Ghana?
Very well. When it comes to child custody, it's basically the rights that the law gives to a person to be able to keep a child and then care for the child.
Okay.
So in the most simplest of terms, that's the meaning of custody. And it usually comes about, first of all, when the person involved is a child, because you can't get custody over a person who is not a child in Ghana. And it usually comes about when there's some sort of, proceedings to dissolve a particular marriage or separation or whatever it is. But it has to be a legal pronouncement. There has to be a legal pronouncement. You just don't get up and then unilaterally have custody over a child. It has its own legalities around it. Basically, what the law says, first of all, you need to understand one thing. The welfare of the child is paramount.
Okay.
That's the whole idea. And that is what every judge will tell you.
And is the welfare of a child defined?
Well, it is usually reduced to maintenance.
Okay.
Payment of school fees, growing up in a very good, safe environment, basic clothing, food, health. The basic necessities of life. That is what you should be able to prove in order to get custody of a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see. And so, what does the law say in Ghana?
So the law says that a parent can have custody of a child, a parent, and then a person with whom a child stays can also have custody of the child. So we are talking about the blood relatives and even non-blood relatives also.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Just that the person must be of sound mind, must be of good behavior. All those things come in. And then the environment in which the child will grow in should be safe.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want the child growing up in a very unsafe environment. So these are some of the things.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure when it comes to all these, limitations that are not, let me not, I mean, for lack of a better expression, limitations. I mean, a safe environment. All these things are defined when it comes to the issues of law. Am I correct?
Yes,
Okay.
basically.
David,
Yeah.
there's a particular reason why I brought you today, and which is the fact that you in recent times have had that experience
Sure.
of having full custody of your children. Now I want to know the story. How did it unfold?
Okay. I met this young lady.
Mm,
We dated and we got married. But at a point, we could see things weren't working.
mm,
So we had to part our ways. And from my perspective, I thought the kids were safer with me because they were boys and they
Okay.
were very young too.
yeah.
So their mother took lead with the custody from social welfare. I went through the process and I was able to argue my case out. So I got full custody and she had access.
I see. So there's the custody and then the access. So
Sure.
one person gets full custody, the other gets access to the children.
Yes.
Where the access means what?
The access is the mother also has to get time for the kids. So let's say in my case like this, weekends the mother has to come for the kids. Sunday he needs to bring the kids back.
Okay.
So that Monday they can
Go to school and do
Yes.
other things. I see. I'd imagine, I mean, around that moment where you're going through this, there will be a lot of stress. There will be a lot of thoughts.
Sure.
Is it that you just thought because you are the man and they are boys? If they were women, or if they were girls, would you have done same?
Yes, I would.
You would have. So it's for
Yes.
the love of the children. Ha-
Let me also chip in this. Growing up,
Hmm.
I didn't grow up with my dad. I didn't even live like a year long with my dad. My dad was working elsewhere whilst we lived
Mo
in
pesa,
Tema.
mema mo pesa. Leslie and David, you
So,
two like that. Mo pesa.
In school, you see parents will come around and my dad is not around. So I felt it.
Yeah.
And I know how it feels. So I wanted to be there for my kids.
Okay. So you would say that has influenced what
Sure.
you want to be.
Sure.
Leslie,
Yes, sir.
I don't know how David argued his way or his case to have custody of the boys. But if they were girls, do you think it would have been that easy?
No, it wouldn't have been that easy.
It wouldn't have been. So there's something there's an element that made it easy for him.
Boldly, I can say yes. There's this case that we are trying hard to get custody for the man, and the issues of the marriage, the children are female, and it hasn't been easy. The best we know he will get is reasonable access.
Wow.
But you see, normally, if the kids are females, I mean, the whole transition into womanhood and all those stuff that comes with being girls, a man can't really work his way around them.
yeah.
They need that feminine closure,
To understand.
feminine discipleship, and all those feminine motherhood. Basically, it's motherhood. You know, you and I, we don't have time. You know, yes.
David,
Yeah.
I mean, there's one question I'll be throwing to you, but before I get there, let me find out from Leslie, and then I'll again relate it to your case.
Okay.
What are the factors that the court considers mostly to determine, or when determining, the custody of a child?
Okay.
I mean, you made mention of the safe environment and all that, but I am sure there is more
Yes.
beyond that. What are
Yes.
some of these?
Okay, to begin with, sometimes you have this saying that, oh, no matter what I do, the children would automatically be given to the woman. That's not what the law says. The law says a person. It is gender neutral. A man can be awarded custody, a woman can be awarded custody. But when you look at some of the factors, the first, like I said, is the welfare of the child. If granting custody to the man would improve upon the welfare of the child or will secure the welfare of the child as it is, why not? Custody would be awarded to the male figure or the father. If in granting custody to the woman, the welfare of the child is secured or will be improved upon, custody will be granted to the woman. But basically, it's about the basic amenities. Maybe there's already a sibling living with one of the parents, and you know it is difficult to detach siblings. So if there is a presence of a sibling with one of the parents, then why not? Why don't you, if you are taking care of one, why don't you take care of the other one?
Okay.
Do you understand? Because of the psychological effect that it will have on the child, knowing that his or her sibling is living elsewhere and he or she is also living elsewhere. So that's one of the factors. And then, of course, a safe environment. And then sometimes they also listen to
The kids.
the children, what they have to say. And by children, I mean a person who is below the age of 18 years, because that's what the law says.
Okay.
So any person who is below the age of 18 years is a child for the purposes of matrimonial issues and then children's rights.
Yeah.
So sometimes the view of the child is also taken into consideration. So that's another factor that the court will take into consideration. What is the child saying? Will I be safe with mommy or will I be safe with daddy? Or do I enjoy daddy's presence or I enjoy mommy's presence? Especially if that opinion is independently given. Yes. So these are some of the factors.
I see. I mean, determining a child's independent opinion, I wonder, because mother is enticing, father is enticing. How anyway? David,
Yep.
in your case, can you let us know what specifics were used to determine yours? But beyond that, how old were the kids when you got them?
Yes, when I got custody, the little one was 2 years, and the eldest was 7.
Oh, okay.
So I've gotten custody for the past 5 years.
The past 5 years.
Yes.
So the little one is 7
It's
now.
7 now, and the
then
eldest
the other
is 12.
Wow, interesting. So in your case, you argued out, yes. But what I mean, when the judge pronounced verdict, what
Okay.
were the specifics?
Before, it's a process. So they had to come to my facility, inspect the whole place,
Okay.
the environment. They had to go to their mother's place also, this same. They have to go to the kids' school independently, interview them.
When you say they, do you mean the social welfare?
The social welfare,
Okay.
yes. So after they put down their reports and they came up with the verdict.
Okay, so I mean, they would have done independently their
Yes.
own research and follow-ups, and then
Exactly.
out of that is when they're able to determine.
Yes.
Interesting.
And
Child custody.
I could also say that one strong factor that helped me was the closeness of school to home.
Okay.
It was so close, like 5 minutes drive
Oh, I see.
Okay.
to the school.
Okay. So that
I
also
think
helped.
that was also a factor that went on to my advantage. Yes.
I see. But I mean, even if it wasn't, could you have argued that you are ready to change the school?
No. No.
I see. Well, issues of child custody isn't a joke like we think, but I mean, it's also to mean that men also have rights. You should be able to speak to the right people, follow the right process, and you get it as almost the way you want it. Of course, the law is there to help you do what you have to do. You need to start sending your messages, okay? And I would like to have your messages early enough this time so we can discuss and then take your comments. It's 020 2222054. 020 2222054. I'm going on a short break. I'll be back shortly. Welcome back if you're just joining us. We are still in the lounge discussing custody issues, obviously looking at what rights do fathers have. I'm still here with David and Leslie. Keep your messages coming. 020 I'll do justice to it. Leslie, so what rights do fathers have when it comes to child custody?
Okay. The rights of a father over his children are quite a lot. But like I said, it's not really a gender thing. It's just a gender neutral thing. But of course, customarily, fathers have the right to discipline their children. The right to ensure that their children receive that mentorship. The right to ensure that their children are brought up with good behavior and all those stuff. So when custody is awarded the father, these rights would automatically come into play. And I'm sure my brother is doing a good job ensuring that he enforces his rights over his children. Yeah. Otherwise, then what is the essence of granting you the custody,
custody,
that
yeah.
you so much fiercely fought for. So these are some of the rights that a father has over his children. They are not legally prescribed per se, but we get them from norms, we get them from culture, and the rest. Rex Omar has a song called Papa. It's one of my favorite songs, especially the remix. Every right that a father is expected to have over his children is there. I mean, every right that a father is supposed to have over children is there. So basically, the rights are there. They are not legally prescribed per se, but well, you can catch a glimpse of it from our culture. Yeah.
I see. I mean, there's a point you spoke, especially when you said so one party is granted access,
Yes.
and then the other party is granted custody. Now, I want to throw some more light on that. The access. So, what does it really mean? And especially, I mean, when we went on the break, we were discussing the issues of adoption
Yeah.
in relation. Can you throw some more light on that?
Okay. So custody is permanent keeping of a child. So custody has some permanence to it.
Okay.
With access, reasonable access, it means that you have I don't want to use the same access, but the child is available to you, but only for a period of time as compared to the person who has the custody
yeah.
over the children.
Okay.
So if he has custody over his children and the mother of the child has access, reasonable access, then it means that at any point in time, you find the children living with him. But at some point in time, you find the children living with the mother or having fun or going out to the park. But there is usually a certain time that the access ends. Maybe the court may decide that, okay, you have access to the children Fridays after school, you go pick them up, but make sure you bring them back Sunday in the evening
By 6 p.m.
by 6 p.m., enough for them to do their homework and then go to school. So that's the difference between custody and then access. Then you spoke about custody adoption.
Yeah.
Normally, people think the two words are interchangeable, but they are not. They have very serious legal implications.
Okay.
When we say somebody has custody over a child or children, it only means that that person, right, has the right to keep the child and to provide for such a child. It does not mean that the parent of the child, if there is another one, his or her rights are also extinguished. It means that you have custody to the extent that you also listen to the views of the other parent. The other parent can also enforce his or her rights over the children.
Okay.
Do you understand it? But adoption puts an end to any form of rights that any parent out there would have had over the children. So if you are going for adoption, if the child has parents, they cease being a parent. You step in as the new parent.
Okay.
You don't receive instructions from the other. Maybe you can do it out of moral obligation.
Yeah.
But legally, the child is yours. So it severs whatever ties that the biological parents would have had. And you, the foster parent, so to speak, you step in as the child's real parent. The law recognizes you as the parent of the child henceforth. So that's the difference.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, so the law is typically or detailedly defined to back each step.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
The issue of maintenance is something I've been thinking about. So I am very much aware that fathers, oftentimes, should I say, are slapped with the issue of maintenance. Now, the other way around. Let me take this to David before I come to Leslie.
Okay.
So the other way around, in your case, for example, do you or is there anything like maintenance? Are you receiving that support?
No, there was nothing like maintenance. When we settled, David, Mr. Mensah, you are taking care of the school fees, blah, blah, blah. Nothing like maintenance.
Interesting.
I agreed.
And
Because per our customs, most people think it's the father who is supposed to do everything. But technically, it's not so. It's two ways.
Okay.
If I have custody and you have access, we both take care of the kids. But mostly with the men, when we have custody, they don't add access. They don't add maintenance to it.
Leslie, why?
He who calls the piper.
But at least, I mean, it's both parents that brings out the child, and so why shouldn't it be the other way around?
Well, like you said, we get it from our culture. You know, there are some sayings that reflect the position of the man in relation to his children. I mean, look at all this. Somebody once said, no mother-in-law would ask the children why they are not in school from their mother. It is always from their father. I mean, you hear all this type of sayings and all this type of jabs and stray bullets, and you understand the role of the father. It's sacrificial. The role of the father is sacrificial. If there's one word that cuts across everything, it's just sacrificial.
Interesting.
Yes.
Would we, or I mean, would I be right to say that the law favors the women? I mean, isn't the law being biased towards them?
No, the law doesn't pick out who is to provide for maintenance. Don't let us blame the law. The law doesn't pick out who is to provide for
who picks
maintenance.
out? Or what picks that out?
Well, the judge, you see, each case is unique on its own. There are some cases that I know of that the woman is providing maintenance.
Oh, there are?
Yes.
I'm smiling now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I mean, I was beginning to think that it's something that toes the line of men
No,
rather than
no,
women.
not at all. And sometimes there's even there's that joint maintenance. I mean, each case is decided on its own unique merits. Yes, so it's not automatic.
I am quite sure some of these things affect the children a lot.
Yes.
How does it affect the kids?
Yes, in my case like this, I do everything. So sometimes I'll tell my kids, maybe, yo, daddy, I need this. Then I'll tell them, wait, if mommy calls, tell mommy I need this. At least for them also to have a feel that mommy is doing something. But mommy calls and they'll ask, oh, mommy, I need this for school. And they'll tell me, mommy says, I should ask you.
Mommy says I should ask you.
Yes.
Wow.
So sometimes, if they need something and even the mother comes for them, I'll tell them, oh, when you go to mommy, tell mommy when you are coming, bring this. Said, oh, mommy said, no, everything, we should ask you.
So,
That's crazy.
this is serious. So I was going to ask another one, but it's okay. Let me leave it here before I get beaten. Anyway, really. So psychologically, you are trying to do your best to at least make the presence of the mother felt. Unfortunately, the other party is not seeing that.
No.
Leslie.
From what I see, it's like you said you do it, so do it. Because she can equally support.
Yeah.
She can easily support, but she's left everything to me.
Past 5 years.
Yes.
And you've survived it.
Yes.
You are the man.
Liverpool are show.
Liverpool has scored.
Liverpool are show.
Anyway.
Salah share.
I see.
Yeah, Salah
so I'm going to come back to you, but let me take this from Leslie.
Yes.
So this issue of the children, in your case, with the cases that come to you and the ones you're aware of, are there some specific negatives when it comes to how it affects the children?
I mean, like it's like.
Or
like
you
it's
say, of
properly-
course, it is done for the good of the children, so there isn't really negatives.
Oh, there are negatives. I mean, 2 hairs are always better than 1.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody said 2 hairs are better than 1, apart from the CD to the pound. But 2 hairs are always better than 1. I mean, if you have both parents coming in to raise up a kid or to raise up a child, sometimes it shows in our schools. You know, back then, well, teachers used to know which family was a formidable one, you know, and then which family each child is coming from the behavior that the child exhibits, right from childhood. You can tell that there's a lack of somebody in there who is supposed to be in there, either the father or the
Or
mother.
the mother.
And sometimes we have even made it seem like a very bad joke. Now, okra, bema picture new fee, and you know those kind of stuff that we say. So it is not easy for a child not to have been brought up by both parents. I think psychologically it has a toll on them. I think it has a toll on them. As for the courts, they are there to pronounce on the matter. But like my friend would say, the judge doesn't live with you. You know, the judge doesn't
So
live with you.
so let me find out this also, that in a case where, when you explained much earlier, for example, the child also has a say
Yes.
independently, correct? And so in the case where everything else almost proves or almost defines or says that custody should go to party A, and the child speaks and says, I want party B, what is looked at in such a situation?
The welfare of the child will always reign supreme.
Not
If
the
the-
wish of the child.
No. If the child knows that going to party A, your welfare is secured or is improved, I mean, we are kola, you know. We are kola. Which rapper said, we are kola, be young? Wasn't it Dogo? Exactly. So, we are kola.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we are looking at your welfare. We
Your
are looking
welfare.
at your overall improvement, maintenance, and all those stuff. So, it doesn't mean, maybe with party A, he has the freedom to go out at night. He has the freedom not to come back early. He has the freedom to come back in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
Definitely, he'll go with party A.
Yeah.
But party B ensures discipline. The welfare is there. School fees is readily paid for. Homework is done. Children are in good clothes. Definitely. Definitely.
David,
Yep.
has this thing affected you in any way?
Yes. In a way that, okay, let me start with my eldest son. At a point, it was affecting him academically.
Okay.
You know, their mom is a teacher. So before I get home from work, he's done all his homework. He'll just give me, Daddy, just endorse for me.
Sign. Yeah.
So I go try and endorse, but at a point, nothing like that was happening. I had to rush from work, come take care of them. So it was affecting him academically. So I had to talk to the teacher
Okay.
for him to go that extra mile with him, and he picked up. And personally too, it affected me at work. When the process started, I need to ask permission to go
Yeah.
social welfare.
Spend
and
more
yes,
time
yes,
there
yes,
as against being at
Yeah.
work.
exactly.
I see. What about the 2-year-old? How did you manage the 2-year-old?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was something I took upon myself that yes, I won't fail. I'll do it. So yes, determination. I did it.
Any support from family?
Yes, a little bit. My mom and my sister was there to support me,
I see.
and a few friends who gave me that words of motivation.
I see.
You see, what a woman took from him, a woman has provided.
Leslie, you're very right on that one. But so, I mean, is there a point that after being granted custody, is there a point that you can lose custody?
Yes.
There is. How do you
Let
get
me-
there?
Let me also chip in this. From what I saw from the social welfare, they are ill-equipped. If much can be done for them, they will have effective monitoring.
I see.
Unlike my case, there hasn't been any monitoring. But I know that I'm doing my best for my kids.
Yeah.
If they are able to do follow-ups, some of these things will come up.
I
Someone
see.
might get access or custody, but he's not doing that much, and the kids will be suffering. So it's just an appeal. If the appropriate authorities, they can equip social welfare to do their work effectively, some of these things would be.
So ideally, I mean, beyond just being granted custody, the social welfare, I mean, the group should be following up
Exactly.
on the well-being of the
Exactly.
decision that's been taken.
Yes.
And which is what we are saying, that they are not well equipped, they are not equipped enough to be
Sure.
able to do that.
Sure.
Leslie,
Yes, sir.
social welfare no dey fit follow up on the thing, oh, and you still dey pronounce judgment. Eh?
That's a social issue.
I see. So I asked that question because I wanted to know what factors will lead to a woman losing custody. I mean, it's always assumed that, or it's always known that the women are better off in taking care of, I mean, the children. And so what is that bad that a woman will lose custody of a child?
It's like lawyer said, there are so many factors that they look at. How safe are the kids? Who is in the best position to take care of them? And also
Making time for
making
them.
time for them, yes.
Making time for them.
Yes.
Interesting. So, if it happens that both parents are unfit in a child custody case, what next?
Or custody can be granted to a non. So, like I began by saying, that it's not only the biological parents
That
that
can-
can apply for custody
Okay.
or can be granted custody. Custody can be, if you look at what the law says, custody can be granted to a non parents, so to speak. So anybody can step in to apply for custody for this.
Anyone can step
Yes,
in, and so I mean, no. Do you just step in because there is a case that's been brought at hand, or you can on your own apply to say that look, I've seen that
you can
these
apply.
parents are likely to not get these kids to I mean the future that they probably deserve, and so you would want to.
Yes, you can apply.
Do you do that in discussion with the parents?
Yes, you can do that in discussion with the parents. Remember what I said. Custody does not mean that you have severed the rights of the parents over the children. It's just the rights given you to keep the children and then to provide for them.
Yeah.
It is not, you are not adopting the children. So anybody can come in to be given that right to keep and to provide for the maintenance of the children, especially when this situation arises. It doesn't mean that the biological parents have been cut off from making certain decisions that would affect the welfare of the children. So yes, why not?
I see. Well, I'm sure little by little, I mean, we'll get as much details that we get. I'm going to go on the very last break. When I'm back, the phone lines will be open, and I'll announce the line. But let me even tell you so that you start calling before time. It's 0555 657278. 0555 657278. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. I'm still here with Leslie and David. We'll be back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are here discussing how we can have custody of our children, of course, I mean, and how it affected us, or how it affects us. But what's important is before we end today, we need to know the process. We need to know what to do to be able to get a fair hearing so that we can get custody of our children. And I'm still here with David and Leslie. The phone lines are open now. Feel free, call us 0555 657278. I repeat, 0555 657278. Leslie, so I want to find out this. What happens, for example, but before that, let me come to David. David, so has there been any point where the mother, through access, came for the child and never, in fact, you had to now call and say, hey, are you not bringing them?
Yes,
It happened.
it happened.
How?
It was a holiday. I came back from work.
Was there a genuine reason? Or you smelled,
It
I
wasn't
mean, you
a
felt it
genuine
was
reason.
some,
I came back from work. The kids were nowhere to be found
okay.
because my mom was around. They were playing and the mom came for them. I called the mother and she told me yes, the kids were with her. So I asked, why didn't you inform me? This is not the time for you to pick them. She hung up. I called again, she wouldn't answer. So what I did was, I went to Waju and they directed me to social welfare. Lo and behold, when I went, all three were there, social welfare. So immediately the kids saw me, they just rushed to me. She wanted to make a case out of it, that I'm not able to take good care of them. The kids are just walking around. But that wasn't the truth.
Interesting.
So they told her that if you want to go for the kids, at least
Inform me.
call.
on
Even though
notice.
you have access at this point, maybe if you want other access, maybe you want to come for them earlier, it's holiday. I just discuss with me. But she never did that.
Leslie, is that access negotiable?
Yes, it's negotiable.
So even if the court has said that, look, you are to go there at this time A, B, C, you are to do A, B, C. Is the person able to
Negotiate.
have some negotiations with, for example, the person who has the custody
custody.
to say that, look,
Yes,
yes, the
yes.
court says this, but please, I'd like to, beyond that, sometimes call, talk. I mean, does it happen?
Yes, it happens. A soft answer turns away wrath. I mean, the
Really?
Bible says yes.
Okay.
Anything
What
is
what about
negotiable.
what about the situation where, you I mean, when you remove a child from custody?
Hey, you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble.
You'll be in trouble. There's a caller. Let me just hear that. Good evening, caller. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, good evening. I'm Aisha.
Hi,
I'm
Aisha.
calling from Adenta.
Aisha from Adenta. Please, let's hear from you.
Okay. Please, I would want to know, does the law about custody of the child permit a stepmother to cater for a stepchild, like in terms of the child's education?
Okay.
The stepmother has volunteered to care for the child.
Okay.
But looking at where the child is and a mother, there isn't much attention on her. So the stepmother has volunteered to care. Can the mother resist?
Okay. Thank you so much, Aisha. I'm sure Leslie will deal with that for us. Leslie, you heard that clearly.
Yes.
So, can the stepmother volunteer? And in that case, what will be the position of the law?
The law says a person.
A person. Okay.
A person, any person. A stepmother qualifies as a natural person. So yes, she can.
And can the mother have a say to say no? I don't want that.
Yes, like I said,
Dialogue.
there's always this right given to the biological parents. Remember I said there's a difference between adoption and then custody. No matter what, the rights of the biological parent would be considered. I mean, and custody is not imposed on a person.
Okay.
Yes, it's not imposed on a person. So yes, the stepmother can step in. The stepmother can step in.
That's a good rhyme, man.
Shall I for a rapper?
I tell you.
So the stepmother can step in to apply for custody
Yeah.
for the children. If the reasons are sufficient enough, like we discussed, why not? But
Okay.
in the end, the biological mother or the biological parent mustn't put in too much opposition because their side will also be listened to. It is not a case of adoption. It is custody.
Well, there's another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good evening. My name is Hussein. I'm calling from Amasaman.
Hi. Please, let's hear you.
Yeah. My question is, like, taking custody of the child. Like, me and my wife, we are no more. We are divorced, and we are doing the case in the house. And then a lawyer said that for her to take custody of the child, I have to rent a room, which I have to pay like 70% of the amount that she's going to rent, and then she'll pay 30%. So I'm asking why she, like when she rent the room to, she'll go with the mother and then the brother. So for me to pay 70%, is it right for me to do that? Or like to or like for her to share it 50-50? Please, that's my question.
Well, Leslie. So this another one from another angle.
Exactly. You see, the thing is, like I said, each case is unique.
Yeah.
What did they take to the courts? What did the judge see?
Yeah.
Is the man in the better position to provide for the child? Then why not?
Okay.
Do you understand that? Like I said, there's been situations where there's been 50-50 maintenance over the children. There's been joint custody too over the children. But it will depend on what you took to the court, because what you bring to the court is what the judge will give you. You understand that? So each case is out. I wish he had stayed on the line for a while so that I would have asked him what exactly
was
he
sent.
took to the court.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get that point. Well, I'm sure you are listening to us. Perhaps for the reason of time, you may want to send us this by WhatsApp 0202222054, and then we can find a way to get you an answer to it. We were talking about removal. You know, when a child is removed from custody, and you were saying it's dangerous.
Yes, at the assembly.
Is there any repercussions?
Yes, 6 months. 6 months. You could face 6 months in jail or
jail terms.
yes, jail term, or you pay a fine or both.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a serious issue. When it comes to children,
And so in David's case, that could have happened.
yeah, that could
Correct.
have happened. If he had wanted to make a case out of it, that would
He
have
could
happened.
have.
Yes, he could have.
David is a fine gentleman.
David
He
is a
has a very
gentleman.
nice heart. He doesn't want to do that. Kindly advise us on the steps to take to get fair hearing and custody. I mean, what should we do as men? What should we do? Who should we talk to?
Fair hearing.
Let me take my call, and then it probably might be the very last one. Good evening, caller. Your
Good
name
evening.
and where you're calling from. Yes, let's hear you. Can hear you. Your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Yes, please speak. We can hear you. Okay, I think we are having some challenge. Please try and call us back so we can talk to you.
Yeah. Could you rephrase the question?
So,
again?
I mean, kindly just advise us on the steps, to take to be able to get a fair hearing and custody. We want to win the case. We want to make our case nice.
prove to everybody that you're a responsible father. Prove to everybody that you are just not a man, but you're a father. You are ready to lead. You are ready to discipline. You are ready to maintain. You are ready to play a major role in the life of your children. All these things can be done from afar. Money answereth all things, like the Bible said, but your physical presence must be there, so that you don't blame the system for being gender biased. If you go to court and custody is awarded the woman, you must be there. The children must feel your presence. Yes. So if you do all these things, there was this time that somebody once told me. Now I'm confused. I don't know whether it was a judge who said it or my own father, because my father is full of wisdom. He said cows were released in a field.
Yeah.
About, quite a number of them were released in the field. And then they released the calves. Is that what they call the children? Yeah.
Yeah.
The calves. Each calf knew which cow to
Was
go
the
to.
mother?
Do you understand that? The lesson I took from this is that no matter what, just do your part as a parent. A judge told my client, don't fight over people who have free will. And by people, she meant children. Once a person has free will, the person sees, the person notices.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? Haven't we all gone to look for our fathers
We
and
do.
our mothers before?
We
Exactly.
always
There's
do.
always that calling
Yeah.
to look for them.
Yeah.
Just play your role as a man. I mean, sometimes, men, let's be frank, sometimes we avoid this role too much.
Yeah.
And that's why the women are gaining superiority in that field. We avoid these roles too much. We think that we are providing the money.
And so that's the end of it.
And so that is the end of it. Somebody special showed me a video on, they were asking, so they put a child there, then they put his parents here, then they asked the father some questions. None of the fathers got it right about the child. And if the mothers are getting it right, if the women are getting it right, and they are granting them the custody, then we are complaining.
We are complaining. Well, David, so what would be your advice to men, obviously, who find themselves in your kind of situation, and how they should go about it?
Yes, all I will say is put up your best. Live for your kids. Do the best that you can do for them. Because I personally, I wouldn't like to be in my old age and see my kids walking around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
So I'll do all I can do best for them, so that in my old age, I'll live peacefully and happy.
Well, certainly this is how much time would permit us to bring you today. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you so much, David. Has the game ended, the Liverpool and Manchester? Anyway, so
2-1.
just want to say a big thank you for being part of our evening. We're grateful. We hope you have imparted you with a lot of knowledge, as we always do. Do be very careful. The week has just started. Take care till Friday. Let's hear from you next Monday when we show up back in the men's lounge. Please be safe.